Welcome to today's show on behalf of Explosion Marketing, and my name is Nairi Ruse for those of you who don't know me, where we dive into the minds of experts who help entrepreneurs grow their influence, income, and impact, and go from invisible to influential and get into the strategy behind the spotlight. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Michelle Kopper, a sought after visibility expert, speaker, and author of a number of masterclasses and also some free downloads that we'll actually be revealing to you later on in the interview. Michelle has helped thousands of coaches, healers, and purpose driven entrepreneurs grow their reach and revenue by finding their voice, owning their message, and showing up powerfully in the spotlight. In this interview and this conversation, we're going to dive into why Michelle calls you one of the greatest deliverers of voice and how you can clarify your message and call in clients in an instant. Whether you're dreaming to be that or leveling up your visibility or just trying to sound less awkward on camera, this episode is for you. So, Michelle, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what it is that you actually offer?
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me. My favorite topics coming, shining, and stepping into the spotlight. I'll give you the short version, called from an early age to sing and scared to death, became a professional performer, and set singing aside, had a journey around finding my own voice. But as a creative professional performer, I've been an entrepreneur, although I didn't realize it since I was 17 years old. And through the work that I did, I became, I've been teaching and mentoring for many years. And I had performance studios in New York City and also here in Portland, Oregon, over a 20-year period. But my business didn't thrive until I really stepped into embrace entrepreneurship and I took my business online. So my journey has been around helping people, helping myself first to step past the edges of my comfort zone and play a bigger game, reach and serve more people. You know, you talked about influence, impact, and income, and those things grow through our confident self-expression. And so I became an online visibility mentor about 10 years ago and created some video training courses. And today we really help coaches, healers, speakers, people who feel called, but that want to have that calling guided, calling fueled business. So we do visibility to profitability in the shortest path we can help you to identify and walk. And people come to us to be seen, be heard, and also have that sustainable 6+ 7-figure business through voicing their calling, but also dialing in the business strategy and the aligned tools and platforms in the simplest possible way to grow as you go, create revenue as you go, but also be living in alignment with that next fullest expression of your own calling.
Thank you, Michelle. I think when I was reading through your website and some of your content and your profile on LinkedIn, one of the key things that really sticks in my mind was your 5-step what to say framework and how to unlock your transformational message, because so many of us actually get stumped right there in the beginning and not getting that right.
Yeah, it's one of the things that stops people from writing emails, making posts, being visible online, certainly making videos, and really moving forward in their business. And it's especially in the transformation space, in that I'm, coaching or leadership training or thought leadership, or people that feel like they're in there to get bigger. We often have been through a transformation of our own, and maybe we've studied modalities or we've studied different techniques and tools. And I have, the toolkit of a professional performer, but using that language, talking about the process, it feels like we have to tell people that. And it's very different, as you know, from telling people how you're going to help them to being able to communicate what you do in that language of the client, but not for leaving out your secret sauce, your best
Mm.
business building asset, which is you, your what I call your frequency factor, your voice, your presence, your energetic enthusiasm, and your perspective, the way you've done it, the things you've learned. So building that bridge from our mastery and our expertise into that language that's going to hit like a tuning fork for those people that are most aligned for us is very elusive across the board. I have high level mentorship to help me do it. I think we really need fresh eyes, but the 5-step framework is available on the website. Actually, the overview of it is about learning how to do that and really finding your own alignment with it, so you don't
Mm.
feel like you're talking in some weird jargony, salesy language, because people
Yeah.
can feel it.
And I love the way you talk about the tuning fork. And sometimes we just can't get out of our own way to find that tuning
Yeah,
fork. So it's great to
yeah,
have someone like you that can actually guide us and has
yeah.
resources and
Well, it's
programs.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, to trust ourselves and to listen to our own intuition and then
Mm.
learn. It's an expansion. So.
Yeah. So tell me, what's the most powerful visibility platform today and what makes it so effective for client growth?
Mm. Well, I'm going to say video,
Uh-huh.
because video is has the capacity to capture the closest thing to being with you in person. And there are lots of tools we can use so that we don't have to be in our videos. There's wonderful AI, and we can make little reels and all of these things. So that's great, because the whole world is, quickly becoming like short form video addicts. And they're very powerful and they can pack a wonderful punch. But for me, I'll say actually being in your videos, right? Because it is your voice, your face, your energetic presence. A video can be working while you're sleeping or traveling. A video is out there 24/7. That's why it's a little scary to make them. But it's the only tool aside from being with you in a room that has your voice, your face, your energetic presence. And even though short form is so popular and powerful right now, I think there's a hidden benefit to live video, and that may emerge over time to become even more potent because of the transparency. So I
Mm.
think video, because people are watching them, hello, that's one reason, right? And that because your voice, your face, your energetic enthusiasm and such is communicated that way. If you've ever watched a favorite TV show, I love to binge watch a good show. And
Mm.
when it ends, I'm a little sad. Like, I want to know what happens to my characters. And it is noisy out there. There is a lot going on, but video gives us an opportunity to become familiar in a way that nothing else does. Now, writing our emails into the inbox and the hearts and the minds is powerful too. But I would pick video if I had to pick the best, highest converting, most bang for your buck platform going in visibility right now. I would say that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree because you start to get the sense of the person, you start to build that relationship and you can see others as a real person and you start to build that
Mm,
connection. So I know whilst there's plenty of AI tools and that out there that can create those funny and gimmicky videos, to me, nothing talks to me more so than like this sort of thing that we're doing today and seeing
yeah.
you as a real person, seeing that,
Yeah.
what you are, what you look like, seeing your body language, your emotions that actually come
Yeah.
through in that. Yeah. So nothing
So
speaks to me.
powerful. And they've done science around how the brain processes moving images and sound. So I just moved and made some sound, and it can be very captivating. And the brain remembers how you make it feel. So a brain is making associations on video, not to get too geeky on the science. I love me some science and some quantum physics, but your brain is literally hardwiring a pattern that says, I know this person, I trust this person. If they watch, if they stay with you, then their brain is building that familiarity like nothing else as can do as quickly or as deeply because of what's happening in the chemistry inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So Just tell me, what are some common mistakes coaches, healers, and experts make when using video to grow their audience and income?
So some common mistakes that the biggest mistake is that they don't, is that they don't know what to say. Maybe they feel cringy or uncomfortable or very vulnerable. It can feel like that deer in the headlights feeling is very real. So, in terms of the biggest mistake to avoid is like, don't avoid video. And I will, it isn't impossible to learn. It is a craft. There is a skill to it. And it will also expand your how you show up in your coaching calls or your client calls. It'll expand how you show up in selling if you're going to speak or write a book or write in your, it's going to transform your presence and your confidence. So it's even a path to more confident self-expression and clearer messaging as if you do it consistently. Some other mistakes that people make is getting overly perfectionistic, like feeling like that video has to be perfectly polished and produced and have all of the whiz bangs on it. There's so much we can do with our magic little computers in our hands. And so overcomplicating it is another thing that people, which can stop you from making them because you feel like it takes so much time and you have to go in the editor and which one should I use? And so overthinking it or getting bogged down in making it look just so. We can do so much with the simple technology tools, whether we're techie or not, that but they can also keep us swimming in that. Is it done yet? Just one more tweak, one more edit, one more polish. So finding a balance between good enough, get it done, put it out there. And I think I've always said this about video. I made my first video program in 2016 before live streaming ever even existed. Video doing a live interview like this, well, we're not live, but recording an interview or doing a live stream or recording a quick video and putting it out there without cleaning it all up makes us human. I think it can actually build more rapport. And in this day and age, the ability to have a short form content mastery, a certain kind of mastery where you're like, hey, I have this thing, like here's a question for you, provide some value. If you want to know more, you can get this cool gift. If you can do that quickly, live or recorded, you have a skill that is going to transform your business. And it's not rocket science, but you have to do it in order to get better. The other thing is like thinking you're going to go behind the final mistake I'll share is thinking you're going to get good at it behind the scenes somehow and not put it out there. And then all of a sudden have a new kind of confidence. But confidence and message clarity, as you know, happen through putting it out there and seeing what works. And if it's not working, then get the support you need it's usually a small tweak that's going to help it work better, not just like, I tried it, it didn't work, now I'll go try this. So those are some of the things that we easily get sucked into in today's world that keep us from leveraging the magic of video.
And I think you're 100% right, and I totally agree. We can overthink things, and our videos don't have to be a Hollywood production. They need to be real and they need to be raw. And we're human. Sometimes the tech fails, sometimes other things happen, but that's all okay. And I think that creates that sense of, that real connection with the person because it is real. It's not some made up thing.
Yeah. With AI now, I think the being real thing is solid gold. Solid gold,
Yeah.
And it takes a little courage and vulnerability. You maybe need to color outside the lines a little bit. Maybe you need to say 3 more times than you wanted to, right? Nobody died if you said right? So I think there's always a growth edge to visibility in my world. There's always, being brave, being daring, getting the support you need to up level as you go.
Yeah. So tell me, why does video feel so vulnerable for some people or even scary for many purpose-led entrepreneurs? And how can we show up with more confidence and ease?
Nice. Good question. So, the cavemen in the cave were afraid of getting kicked out of the cave because there were, dangers out there. And at the heart of that vulnerability, which is very, very real, I know for sure my own self, I was called to sing with the angels in the church Christmas play when I was 4, and I couldn't wait. I was total excitement. The lights came up. I'm in my tinsel halo and my little white sheet, and I fled in irrational, unexplicable terror to my grandma's lap. So, of course, I became a professional performer. And I was told I could be a world class vocalist, go to the opera school, become a world class vocalist. But all I heard was could be. I had this inexplicable, totally irrational, paralyzing fear that I would choke, my throat would close, I would cry out of frustration mostly. So I really get that deer in the headlights.
Mm.
And underneath it is a fear of being totally exposed and ridiculed that feels like life or death. And then most of us think, I just need to get over myself. Nike told me to just do it. And I just need to, and a lot of coaches and camera confidence coaches will say, like, just do 30 videos and then you won't be afraid anymore. And that may be true. Not saying that's not good advice, but for some people, it's a physical barrier. The nerves and the fear, it feels very real. So what if it's irrational? It's happening. So we want to find tools of permission to allow ourselves to shift and move that energy. And those of us who have calling, purpose-led, we're connecting our transformation or our that big thing that we really love, that we want to do, to a business, and we're charging for it, the stakes go way up. And the other thing about being on camera is we feel, and I think it's shifting. This is probably more true for people, I don't know, over 40, because the other generations are growing up with these things in their hands and recording everything all the time. But it does feel like when we hit that record button, we're going to be broadcasting live on, what used to be network television across the world, and naked. It feels so exposed. It feels so permanent, even, and we're already worrying about watching it back, right? Like, I'm going to have to watch it back and it sucks. I suck. This sucks. I'm so awkward. And so the truth is, it's all made up. We're thinking the worst. So in the actor's toolkit, we're not teaching you how to act like someone else. The best actors aren't. The best actors are bringing all of themselves to the situation. So there's tools that you can use to decide where you put your attention instead of on that cringe. I call it the demons of don't do it, cringe, doubt. And so by if even one person will be served, will you show up and share your message today? Are you going to allow yourself to make a mistake? Those tools of permission, and really learning how to pretend something different, because we're pretending that we're going to make a fool of ourselves, right? It's all made up. So there's a real mind game to it, but having a few simple tools, having some confidence about what you're talking about, having a simple framework you can follow so you don't have to try and remember the words. If we're trying to remember the words, we're thinking about what we tried to say instead of saying it. So those are just some of the ways that you can navigate that. I think we tend to feel it and then beat ourselves up for it and tell us we just need to get over it. And that just makes the resistance bigger. So we want to find ways, having a safe place to land, having a little encouragement, having somebody say, that wasn't that bad, or like, you did great, you did it, right? Or having someone to mirror back, like, what you could try and do. You want me to share like one thing you can do to change the way you look and sound on video?
Absolutely.
It's very simple. If you smile a little bit, it changes your voice, it changes your energy, and it opens your energetic presence. So just smiling a little bit, thinking of something funny, putting a picture of someone adores you, and talking to them really right next to your camera lens. Little tools to help you do it. And then the truest way to get better at video is to do it. Do it in the safety of your home. We're going to share a little gift to help people do that, I think, today. And there's little 2-minute video trainings that come with that. One of them talks about what I call the record and release method. So if you're really stuck, you just record it and trash it 2 or 3 times in a row. Don't even plan to look at it. It's just, get past that record button. And, often I've shot videos, over and over again. When I first started doing videos talking about my work and my stuff, I was like, give me a script and a director and hair and makeup, I was very vulnerable. And it was before we were live streaming. So I was using old fashioned editing, and I'm not that techie. And, each video took me 3 or 4 hours, but it was almost always that second or third take that was the strongest. Sometimes it was the first, but you got to work your way into it. And you can move that pretty quickly if you have a kind of give yourself a safe place to land and you have a little structure to follow.
Yeah, and I suppose if we can get out of our own way and outside of our own fears, then that actually helps us to stop that rambling, that freezing, or that feeling stiff and just being comfortable. And it's a wonderful tip you just shared there about just even having a picture of someone and just pretending,
Mm-hmm.
imagining that it's just a conversation that we're having and just being natural and comfortable in that.
Yeah. It's taking up a lot of space to look at the little black circle on your camera and be like, so I'm going to tell you something that you're going to like, and it's going to be cool. So yeah, having a framework and then being brave.
Yeah. So when it comes to experts, what's the biggest mistake that they generally tend to make to actually cause their message to fall flat or undermines their confidence on camera?
So the message, it's very easy. I may have done it a little bit here. I get so excited about all of the things we can kind of do, the overload, information overload. You're asking things like the biggest mistake. I'm going to say getting into our process and our language, getting too technical, not having the building skill. It's not something you do once and for all, but building skill at that client language, building skill at talking about what you do in a way that your best clients can resonate instead of trying to give them the whole enchilada and all the nitty gritty details. You're a master at what you do. Your life is an expertise. You have this cumulative experience. We often so want people to have the answer, right? We're here to teach. We want to help the people. And so if we give them too much technical information and we go, fire hose with here, do this, do this, do this. I do teach that way sometimes. So I'm speaking to myself as well. They can't hear us, right? They can't meet us. So our work, the growth edge for the expert business owner, who, if you're a business owner, that means you're a marketer and a salesperson. Sorry, but you are. It doesn't have to hurt. It's actually really powerful. It is transformational. But the mistake can be not building that bridge and that skill at bringing forward how you can help, what's possible for your client, your potential clients, giving them a sense of their own possibility without burying them in all the how-tos and all the details. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So when you talked before about that little tip about putting someone's face on your screen that you can see, can you share with us a few more practical things that we can do? You've sort of covered quite a few to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that we're creating videos that build trust and resonate with our audience and that will actually lead to clients in our businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in our fast video formula, we're going to share, you'll have some of this really laid out for you in a way that you can implement right away.
Mm,
Implementing right away is the key. So we want to capture attention. I've put a lot of pressure on myself. I do not want to be dancing on TikTok, although I can move. I do not want to be wearing silly hats. I do love my cats, so sometimes I'll have a cat to kick off. We need to capture attention. So
mm,
learning how to do that in a way that helps people to know what they're going to get if they stick around and watch is very powerful. Providing some value. And then, of course, with all of our content, we do want to start to tell people what to do next, right? And there's a lot of different ways to have a call to action. You don't have to be saying, buy my stuff, at the end of every video. Please don't. And yet, one of the mistakes that people make is they get visible, they build engagement, but they don't have a process for how is this visibility, this newsletter, this video going to actually lead to the right people having an opportunity to hire our company, to work with us, to get the bigger results that our clients will get. And so that's a practical thing. It's not a simple one and 10-second solution. But having a strategy for how your video and visibility is going to lead people into your ecosystem and provide them value, but also be bringing the right people who are looking for help along their client journey toward working with you.
Mm-hmm.
So the quick tip is what we're going to gift you in the fast video formula, which is how can you create that engaging first 3 seconds and capture the goldfish attention? How can you provide a little bit of value in a way that they can really appreciate it and absorb it? And then how can you help them to engage? And what are some different ways that you can have a quick call to action so that people actually do something with the video? Because that's when you're going to build your engagement. And then the longer answer is, how is all your visibility actually leading to revenue?
Yeah, that's so important. It's wonderful to do everything that we do, but at the end of the day, we need to be focused on our outcomes too. And in our businesses, it is about, revenue. That's why we're in business, but it's also about ensuring that we take our prospects and our clients along that journey with us. And I think video is such a powerful medium for that.
It really is. It really is. It's one of the biggest things that I think people can always feel like I need to be more visible. But just being more visible won't solve your problem. If you want revenue, right? You need to know how that's going to lead to the revenue and not just be a used car salesman. I'm not saying that. So
yeah, no, I know exactly.
Although my dad was a used car salesman. I'm no knocks against the used car salesman, but we don't want to be that guy on TV, right?
No, not at all. No. So look, you've covered a lot of things that I wanted to ask you, and I'll make sure that we put the free the offer URL down
gift. Yeah. It's the fast video formula. It's a PDF to walk you through how you can create a quick, 60-second to few minute video that will add value, get your confidence up, and serve your people. And we have even more of these little tips, little 2-minute tips to help you just, grease the wheels and help you get out there.
Yeah, and I've actually subscribed to it and started going through it, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I'd recommend it to anyone that's listening to actually do that. Yay.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that we haven't covered or spoken about today in this interview, Michelle?
I don't think so. I think that, my mission and message is always that your voice matters. No one puts the puzzle together the way you do. And your visibility wants to lead to that revenue. And you said, yes, we are in business and it is about creating revenue. But I take it even another step further, like the revenue that you create, your thriving business, having the revenue it needs to have the support you want, to have the team you want, to focus on the things that you want, means that your message, your work is going to have way more impact than if your business doesn't thrive. So tying that calling-led, purpose-led business to prosperity price point and having a thriving business is actually means that you're going to be able to reach and serve more people at a higher level and even touch more of the people who maybe aren't a fit or aren't ready for working with you and uplift them too, so that your revenue and your prosperity is connected to the impact that you can make. It's a demonstration of your alignment with the universe and showing up and playing big. And it, in and of itself, your successful business can make a huge impact in the lives that you touch through your marketing, through your message, through your videos that you may never even know. So I'm all for that prosperity.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing your brilliance and your heart with us today. It's just been an amazing conversation, and I've learned so much from you, as I'm sure our viewers will. And thank you for demystifying that whole video process and helping us to show up with confidence on camera And you've given us so much to think about and act on. So that's been an absolute eye opener for me, and I'm sure it will for our listeners as well. So if
Oh,
you,
good. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to talk with you.
that's okay. So for the viewers, if you're listening and thinking maybe I can really create that video or finally show up on video without freezing up, then Michelle is the mentor who can really help you
Mm.
get there. So be sure to download that the free framework that Michelle is offering and connect with her at michellekopper.com for powerful tools, programs, and insights to amplify your voice and visibility. And if you found today's interview valuable, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more expert interviews and connect with us on LinkedIn, both Michelle and myself, and stay in the loop with resources and tips to grow your business. So until next time, remember your voice matters, your video matters, your story matters, and the world is waiting for you to show up and share it.